Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be going over some budget options for Katsu and just kind of talk about the cost, my country accent coming out there, the cost of Katsu, and give you some substitutes for some of the higher priced cards, but also just talk about if you're new to the game and you think Katsu's a hero that you want to play, kind of give you where you're going to have to eventually spend your money. And honestly, when it comes to Katsu's kit, the quick thing is it's not really anything in the actual Ninja kit. It's the other tech cards that come outside of it. But we'll talk about that. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Feel free to check out my other videos. I do Flesh and Blood content as well as Alpha Clash content. Also, feel free to check out my Patreon and my Discord down below. We have over 400 members in the Discord, super active, super positive community too. That's the one thing for all my long-standing supporters. I just want to quickly say, thank y'all so much for being positive. I know that sounds like such a weird thing to thank someone for, but our Discord, there's never any people roasting people for certain deck decisions, or it's very new player friendly. So if you're new to the game, I highly suggest join the Discord. It's a very safe place to ask questions and bounce ideas. I've never hardly ever seen anyone give a negative opinion, even if they don't agree with you, in the Discord. But anyway, we'll get right into it. So first thing I want to do is show you a list, my list. So here's my Katsu list. So this is on February. I'll link it down in the description down below. But this is just a basic Dusk Till Dawn Katsu list. It's got some cards even bigger than that. Generally, yes, some people might make some slight deck decision differences, but for the most part, this is a pretty decent core of what you'll see from a Katsu list, with the exception of maybe onesies and twosies of cards here, right? So if you go, the good thing that February has is they have a pricing tool where they basically hyperlink everything in a TCG player, where you can click on this. If I were to click on it right now, I'll click on it really quick. Click on this, it'll take you to the TCG player website to where the card is listed, right? So as you can see, the total cost of this deck is $630. I know that's daunting. I know that seems like a lot, but let's look at this for a quick second. Command and Conquer makes up a third of that, $264. Findle Spring Tunic is $156. So those two combined, I'm terrible at math, is $360, $410, right? Then Masco Momentum is around $70. That's $480. So $480 out of $630 of the deck are dedicated to Command and Conquers, which normally are sideboarded anyway. Oh, then you have Enlightened Strikes as well. So we just said what, $480 plus $80 here for Enlightened Strikes, so $580, $560. So $560 out of $630 of the deck is dedicated to Enlightened Strikes, Command and Conquer, Masco Momentum, and Findle Spring Tunic. You can build per this list, you could build everything else in this list for $50. And the cool thing is, I'm really going to give exactly the substitutions for each of these on purpose. Is you can substitute these and still play the deck, still feel powerful as a Katsu player. Not having Command and Conquer, yes, Command and Conquer is very nice, it's very powerful, but you can still play Katsu at his normal power level without Command and Conquer. Enlightened Strike does make Katsu very flexible. I will say it's a very good card to get. I think outside of Masco Momentum, it's the first card you buy in your normal deck, first expensive card. But again, you can have all the normal good Katsu lines without it. Your very first purchase, honestly, will probably be Masco Momentum. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to give you substitutions for each of these, which will allow you to literally build your first Katsu deck. You can take the list down below and then supplement the expensive cards with the cards I'm about to show you, and build a fully functional and, quite frankly, competitive Katsu deck for under $70 that you can then upgrade and take on as you go to bigger events. At an armory level, the list I just showed you, combined with these substitution cards, you could win an armory with this deck. I fully 100% believe that and stand by it. So the first one we're going to go over is a substitution for Masco Momentum. So Masco Momentum, honestly, is the first card you're probably going to buy. If we honestly pull it back up here real fast, Masco Momentum is the one I want to show us in case we have brand new players in here that aren't aware. Masco Momentum is a once per turn effect. When an attack action card you control is a third or higher chain link in a row to hit, draw a card. So it creates a lot of draw power for Katsu, and it's a continuous effect that doesn't go away unless someone destroys the mask somehow or you block with it, right? Because it has Blade Break, so it dies the second you block with it. So what are some things that you can could use as a substitute for Masco Momentum. So I'm going to give you the old school substitution, and then I'll give you some of the newer ones, which are honestly better, but it all depends on what you have access to. So what I used for 6 months before I got my Masco Momentum is Hope Merchant's Hood. Hope Merchant's Hood is an instant. It says, destroy Hope Merchant's Hood, shuffle any number of cards from your hand into your deck, then draw that many cards. So what this card allows you to do is it allows you to get, it allows you to basically reset your hand. If you don't have good blocks or if you don't have the right hand you need, it at least gives you a shot to draw up a new hand and hopefully be able to do something. It helps create a higher level of consistency, and it's something that I use, right? Like if I draw up and I don't have a good attacker, I don't have a starter, and I really need to push damage, maybe I'll cycle 3 cards back into my deck and then draw 3 new ones after I shuffle, giving me a chance to maybe draw that. So that's a big one, honestly, that I use, but it is a little old school. The second one you can use is Mask of Many Faces. This card is pennies on the dollar. All these cards are like less than $1 or maybe like a couple dollars. It's an instant for 1 resource and says, destroy Mask of Many Faces, name a card. The next attack action card you play this turn gains that name. So this allows you to string together combos that you normally want to be able to string together, right, one time. So let's say you have Surging Strike and, or let's say you have Whelming Gust Wave in your hand and you have a leg tap. And for some reason you really want to get the Surging line off because you want to push that turn and you want to have Whelming Gust Wave be able to threaten that +1 draw card. You can pay 1 before you play the leg tap off of blue and then play and name Surging Strike and then name that leg tap Surging Strike. That way when you play Whelming Gust Wave afterwards, whether it hits or not, it'll see that the last card was also named Surging Strike and be able to get the combo effect. It's a one-time use. It has Blade Break 1, but it's really good if you're trying to string together multiple, a good line when you absolutely need it, right? So that's a big one. Sorry, my cat just jumped up in my lap, so if you see her jump up, that's why. The last one is Mask of Three Tails. Now, this one is not out yet at the time of this recording. It's coming out in the Tolarian Community College kit here at the end of this month in September. But you'll be able to get this at single rate, and it's not going to be expensive. I guarantee this will be like a $5 card, if that. Instant, destroy this, draw a card, activate this ability only if you have hit 3 or more times this combat chain. So this will allow you to basically trigger the same effect that Masco Momentum has, but you only get to do it once. And the good thing about this card is you don't have to hit 3 times in a row to do this. You only have to hit 3 times, period. It's mainly for the Crouching Tiger archetype, but I think it'll be really good for starter level players to play with in something where you can kind of get the feeling of Masco Momentum as you play. The one card you're not noticing in here is Mask of Pouncing Lynx. You can very well run Mask of Pouncing Lynx. I will say Mask of Pouncing Lynx is a little bit harder to run in Katsu because you have to have the deck that is built for it, since you only can get a card that is 2 or greater. Traditional Katsu lists don't have a lot of targets for that. Usually it's Bonds of Ancestry, or like Winds of Eternity or Assault the Wound or something like that, right? So it's definitely still useful, but it takes a different style of deck to use effectively. So definitely check that one out, but it's not my top 3 just because in a traditional Katsu list, it doesn't actually have a ton of synergy, and it's usually used as a sideboard mask piece for decks that aren't going to let you proc Masco Momentum a whole lot. So there's your substitutes for Masco Momentum. Next one we have is your best substitute for Command and Conquer. Now, if we're being honest, there is no true substitute for Command & Conquer. You're going to feel it when you don't have that card in the deck. That card normally is a sideboard card, but right now in the meta, it's got even better because it's really good against Lexi. It's really good against, basically any hero that values the arsenal. It's a 6 power that can't be defense reacted. It's a 3 block, right? It hits all the wickets. And there's no true substitute for it. What I will say, if you're looking for a popper, right, against Dromai, that's 6 power, that also can have application into other heroes, I actually think Humble right now is the best 6 power substitution for Command and Conquer. Humble has a lot of application. It says when it hits a hero, the hero loses all abilities until the end of next turn. So basically you treat their hero text as if it's empty. This is obviously a popper for Dromai. But what it also has application to Lexi. If this hits Lexi and they have a face down card in Arsenal, and let's say they needed to flip it in order to open up the Arsenal slot, they can't flip it because they can't activate their hero ability to flip it. So it's really good for that. It can put them in a weird spot. It's good against Bravo because it prevents Bravo from dominating an attack. It's good against Dromai yes, you want to use it as a popper, but it's even good to hit her like head on with it, because if it hits, she can't give stuff go again, because that's a part of her hero text. It just has a lot of application. It doesn't have much application in Icelander, but it will prevent Azalea from being able to dominate arrows. It'll prevent Katsu in the mirror from being able to Katsu ability. It just has a lot of application to a lot of different decks, and I think that it's honestly the next best substitute when it comes to like just total use case against a lot of different decks. So definitely check this card out. And this card's super cheap. Next one is a replacement for Enlightened Strike. This one I'm stretching a little bit. There is no true replacement for Enlightened Strike. They're like even more so than Command and Conquer. It's just a super flexible card. It lets you draw a card. It lets you potentially have go again. Lets you buff it up to 7. So it's a 2-card 7. Like there is no true substitution. And there's a bunch of little mini interactions that Enlightened Strike allows with like even bigger than that, and with Snapdragon scalers and stuff like that, that you can't ever replicate. What you can replicate is just a good high power 3-block attack like Pounding Gale, which has synergy with Flick Flack. Fluster Fist is also really good. Just have a really good ninja attack action in there that blocks 3 that you can combo. I think it's just probably the best play. Or just have another good go again attack. If you're new to the game, just use another 0 for 3 like Head Jab. You can even go the route of using a Ravenous Rabble or Scar for a Scar, kind of play into that aggro game plan a little bit more, but there is no true substitution for Enlightened Strike. I would say I would get your Enlightened Strikes after your Masco Momentum. I think Masco Momentum should be every Katsu. If you want to play Katsu, Masco Momentum is going to always be your first purchase, and then after that, I would go for Enlightened Strikes as your next purchase. So that's the next one for Enlightened Strike. And then finally, as you're about to see my cat climb up here we go, is for Findle Spring Tunic. So for she's going for the mic. For Findle Spring Tunic, you want to, there's a bunch of different ones you could use. You could use Deep Blue. That's literally pennies on the dollar. It kind of gives you a similar effect. What Deep Blue allows you to do is you sink a card. When you sink a card, sink a red card, it gives you 3 resources. It allows you to basically turn a red into a blue into Katsu. There's other cards you can use, like Blossom of Spring, which basically gives you like a one-time Tunic effect during the game. You can use that if you're on like an Art of War list. I personally think you should just use Heart and Cross Strap. It's the best. You can't use it in Blitz. It's not legal in Blitz, but in CC, it's really good. Definitely use it for that. It allows for Surging Strike to be for free. It allows you to play even if it's not a Surging Strike, if you absolutely have to get a different card off, like Leg Tap or something like that for free, it can be used for that. It can be used for Humble or something like that. This card just allows for a lot of different starters to really get the best value. Being able to arsenal a Surging Strike and then activate Heart and Cross Strap on your turn to then play Surging Strike for free and still have a 4-card hand is super, super dangerous. It's one of the craziest things you can do in Katsu. And honestly, a lot of the aggro list right now, even at the highest competitive level, are mainboarding this card. And Tunic is a sideboard card for some of the slower matchups. Yes, Tunic's very good. I highly suggest just getting Tunic in general. Tunic's about to get like quote reprinted in the next set because it's going to be in the expansion slot, so it might go down even a little bit more, which is good. But definitely run Heart and Cross Strap in place of your Tunic, which should give you a little bit more consistency with your deck while also keeping costs low. So that is the case for what I have. I think that's all I had. If I check really fast, yeah, that's all I had. So if you replace all of those cards there, and you go back to this list, you're going to basically build an entire Katsu list for under $70. And a Katsu list that honestly is about 80 to 90% competitive complete. And then you're going to be able to just build on the cards later as you do it. I played on a list similar to that for about 6 months when I joined in Monarch. And honestly, like it still was just as much fun. I don't think you need to buy the heavy stuff unless you're trying to do something outside of an armory or unless you just really want the cards. Obviously, that's a nerd thought. But all these normal ninja cards are like pennies on the dollar, like literally pennies. If you see like here in the pricing, most of your equipment is like pennies. Even Breeze Rider boots, which is one of the better equipment pieces, is only $3. Your Kodachis are 2 cents, 1 cent for Heart and Cross Strap. Sorry, the cat. No Rune Gloves. Ancestral Empowerment's probably your next most expensive card. They're $3 a piece right now. But as you can see, like all of these cards, an entire play set is going to cost you less than $1, right? Conceal Blade, they're $3 a piece. Dishonor is $3 a piece. So some of these you could even cut even less and make it even cheaper. But overall, I think it's a good start. Definitely check out the link down below. I'll make a copy of this and put it down below, and you can literally go to each card on TCG Player through the pricing tab on Fabulary. If you're new to the game, definitely check out Fabulary. You can make decks on there for Talishar. You can look at cards. You can like see pricing, all that stuff. So even meta breakdowns and how people are doing on Talishar against other decks. It's really, really good. So feel free to check that out. Hopefully this helped. I always see people like, what's a replacement for CNC? What's a replacement for Enlightened Strike? And I always answer in the comments, but I've never made a dedicated video to it. At least I don't think I have. If I have, I forgot I made it. But let me know what your thoughts are. I would definitely love to see it. And hopefully you enjoy this type of content. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much again for stopping by. I'll see you all next time on TCG Talk. Thank you all so much.